Yeah.
Okay, Manoj. Now it started recording.
Okay. Hello everyone, welcome to Informatica live training, and we are very proud to launch this new course. And this will be taken care by the Seshu, which is our new trainer. So he has very rich experience in this Informatica and ETL tools. So I will hand over this to Seshu, and he will start from here. Seshu, you can start now.
Thanks, Manoj, for the introduction. Hi, team. Good evening and good morning. This is Sheshu. I have 8+ years of IT experience in Informatica and OBAE. Both combined, we call it as a business intelligence package. So today we will be having Informatica orientation class. I will be walking you through about what is Informatica, why it is required, why you should learn, and what is the role of Informatica in data warehouse, all those kind of things. If you have any doubts, uh, we will be having a Q&A session. So the agenda of Informatica orientation session is going to be introduction to data warehouse and Informatica and the need of data warehouse and purpose, then history of Informatica, how it evolved, then Informatica Suite 9.1 components, and Informatica core structure, how we'll be taking care of all the components and what and all it going to be covered. This is the agenda. So here is the course objective. By the end of the course, you will learn what is Power Center and the components of Power Center and the architecture of Informatica and the server installations and how it is integrated with the clients. All this it will be covered. And apart from that, the core Informatica development in terms of ETL mappings and how the mapping means how we write the logic, how we build the logic, then how we run the logic or execute the logic to load the data from one database to another database. And next step is how to monitor them. It's not only important to write the logic, it's important to monitor how it is executing. Then only we will come to know whether the logic is exactly executed or some deviations are happening. So that is called monitoring here. And the next thing is going to be how to tune it. If you find any problem in the execution, let's say whether the session is failing or getting stopped or it's running very slow, then how to monitor it and how to identify the problem or root cause, then how to fix it. All kind of things we will be learning in the monitoring sessions. So first of all, I would like to introduce a word called data warehousing. So basically Informatica is a data warehouse tool. So before getting into the Informatica, let's see what is data warehouse. So team, any idea what is data warehouse? Or I would like to know whether you people are familiar with data warehouse or you come from different backgrounds. Okay, I will walk you through the data warehouse. So data warehouse is a simple and single database where we will see the data from different sources. For example, you have few different sources. Let's say one is ERP, SAP ERP. Then another one is custom built Java application where you are storing some participants information or registration information. Then you have another source, maybe mainframes. So you have few different data sources and you would like to see the data combined as a package in one single store. That is called data warehouse. So we will transfer the data from three different sources into a target called data warehouse where you can keep the entire data and start your analysis. That is called data warehouse. So why you need the data warehouse? That is the biggest question we will be reviewing in the next slide. Before going to the next slide, I would like to take you to the slide called why you should learn Informatica. It's more important when you want to learn any course or any tool, you should be having an answer like why you want to learn Informatica. So the basic foremost thing is job trends. Let's say if you learn Informatica, how many job openings you are going to see, whether the future of Informatica will be good or is it a sustainable with in comparison with the other technologies like data stage, ab initio, then Microsoft. Microsoft also have ETL tools. So you should know which one is good and where the market is going. So here is the slide. So Informatica is always leader in ETL space. ETL is nothing but extract, transform, load, which helps us to build the data warehouse. So whenever you hear a few words like ETL, data warehouse, all these related, correlated. So to master these techniques, we have the technologies like Informatica, data stage, ab initio. We call all these tools as ETL tools or data warehouse tools. So data warehouse is a whole picture where you will have ETL and reports. The first part is transform the data from source to target, then do the reporting. So that transformation is going to be taken care by Informatica or ETL technology. Then the reporting is going to be next step. So you can do the reporting with the help of OBAE, Cognos, business objects. There are a lot of tools which helps us to do the analysis or reporting. 1 minute, I think I got a ping. Oh, okay. All are muted. Guys, I think you will get the chance to speak in question and answer session. I will continue. So Informatica is the leader in ETL space. 75% of the ETL space or ETL clients are for Informatica. So which means it shows the dominance of Informatica in ETL space. And if you see the job trends, the Informatica still has upper hand when you compare with data stage or ab initio or any other technologies. In recent times, there is a tough competition between Informatica and cloud technologies like big data, but still Informatica is very competent. If you see this graph, since 2014 it's doing very consistent and very good. The reason is Informatica started adopting even big data technologies also. With the newer versions of Informatica, they started introducing connectivity to the big data, which means without you learning big data technologies, you can still perform the ETLs by using big data with the help of Informatica tool. Let's say, for example, if you want to write some program in Hadoop, you need to know the you should be good at Java as well as Hadoop. So here it's not like that. If you are very good at Informatica, you write your mappings in Informatica. Those mappings will be converted to the Java programs and submitted to the Hadoop. That will be taken care by Informatica. That's how the Informatica is very consistent. It's giving tough competition to any other technologies or any other tools, and it's upgradable. So every day by day it's getting better. So here are the reasons why you should learn Informatica. So first one is it has 75% of the market share. So you will see jobs everywhere across the world, either it's US or India. In India also multiple locations. You will be always seeing the job openings from top MNCs, multiple MNCs. So Informatica is a tool where you see the openings in MNCs as well as mid-sized as well as very small companies also. Let's say, for example, uh, a company with the size of 10-15 members also has the openings for Informatica. That shows the popularity of Informatica and the job openings itself. And when it comes to product wise, when the architects choose which ETL technology they should use, they always go for Informatica. The reasons are we evaluate how good Informatica is in terms of options and utilization. Then the second thing is the cost effectiveness as well as product support. Let's say we are in the implementation phase, or we have already implemented the Informatica. Then we got stuck up with some problem or some product bug. So we always evaluate a tool in terms of how quick we get the support from vendor. For example, Informatica or Data Stage or Ab initio, how quick we get the resolution for that bug. That's more important. And here we get 24/7 support, and Informatica has excellent team of architects, everyone, so they jump in and help us. That's the reason Informatica has become very popular, and most of the Fortune 500 clients use Informatica as their ETL technology. These are the points which always makes the people to go and learn Informatica and start their career with the Informatica, because Informatica is the entry point to the BI technologies, business intelligence technologies. Then here is the data warehouse architecture. As I discussed, we get the data from multiple sources. You can see here operational systems, ERP, CRM, HR managements, finance, any other modules. Then we extract the data. So which means we fire some queries and get the data into staging area. Then here is the staging area. Then we transform. Transform means we clean up the data. Not only cleaning up, we add some logic. Let's say you are getting a data of column 1 and column 2. Now you would like to see column 3 as column 1 plus column 2, or column 1 multiplication to the column 2, some kind of thing. Let's say you are getting so from source you are getting the data as USA, whereas in the data warehouse you would like to see United States of America. That kind of logic or transformations you will do in the transformation stage. Then put it into the target. That is nothing but warehouse. So you make the modules like HR, sales, then finance. Then you put the links between these modules in terms of foreign key and primary key. Then establish the relationships and load it. That's the loading stage. That is nothing but ETL, extract, transform, load. Then on top of that, see, we have loaded the data into the data warehouse. Then to whom it's going to be visible or useful. That's the main important. So the end goal is going to be analysis of the data. Without analyzing data, it's waste to load into the data warehouse. So here analysis comes into picture through presentation layer. That is nothing but reporting. So the final end goal is you have to publish the data into reports. So the reporting technology may be anything, ClickView, OBA, Tableau, whatever it may be, whichever is good or comfortable to the organization. This is the data warehouse architecture. Then let's discuss about the problem. Why we need to implement the data warehouse? Why we need ETL? How the data warehouse concept came into picture? Then how Informatica solve the problem? If you understand this problem, then only you can feel the power of ETL technology. Then only you feel the power of Informatica before you learning itself. So the problem is when you start inserting the data into your operational systems, or let's say you started using your systems every day. You just take the example of any supermarket or any hospital or any manufacturing company. Every day lot of materials, lot of money, lot of transactions come in and come out. So those data are every point of entry will be registered in the operational system. That's called database. We call it as a database. We will be recording each and every entry as a line. So over the period of time, it grows multifold. For example, if you take big companies like Walmart or bankers, let's say Bank of America, those kind of entities, or you take Dr. Reddy's Laboratories, those kind of companies, if you take it, you see multiple GBs or multiple terabytes of data in terms of operational database. So over the time, Sorry guys, is it clear now? Speed of net is good. Hello team, is it audible now? Okay, okay, thank you. Sorry for the disturbance. So I was talking about the problem, why the Informatica came into picture, the reasons behind the evolution of data warehouse, all those kind of things. I will quickly go through once again. So I would like all you to understand the need of data warehouse, then how Informatica is going to help us to build the data warehouse. So we'll be getting the data from multiple sources, and over the time it grows up very rapidly. Then if you want to do any analysis, for example, how my sales team is performing, what are my revenues, how my revenues have grown up from one quarter to another quarter, or 1 year to another year, then comparison between quarters between over the years. If you want to do all this kind of analysis, you need to have less data as well as very fast running system. When it comes to source system, it's not going to provide it, because the way we design the source system is different than data warehouse. In source system we will be having multiple joins, because here we don't want to maintain data redundancy. That's the reason we will have a clean data. Clean data means you need to have more joins to get the required output. So obviously more joins deteriorate your performance, so your performance will be bad. So to solve that problem, to address that problem, people started designing data warehouse. So here in data warehouse, we get the data from multiple sources and store the data in fact and dimensions, in the form of dimensions and facts. So dimensions and facts always will have direct joins as well as less number of giants when you compare with the source system. So your queries run pretty much fast. That is the reason why data warehouse came into picture, came into our lives. So that's where the ETL technology started, the loading of data from source to target. That's where the Informatica sits in. So that's the importance of Informatica. So I will just go through once again quickly. We need the unified access to the data. It means you need to collaborate all the data which is coming from multiple sources. That's the reason we have warehouse. Without warehouse also we can do it. That's the query driven or lazy method of doing it, or else warehouse. It's called proper engineered way. So what is meant by query driven? As I said, you just write a queries to get the data from multiple sources. Let's say you have multiple sources here. You write a wrapper which will give the access to a single point of contact of source. Then on top of that you write the SQL queries. So this approach is failed because it's very costly. The first reason. The second reason is it's a tedious. The third reason is it's not ad hoc. Let's say the engineers like us will write the SQL queries and it will be static. Let's say today you would like to see a report with 10 fields. So we will write the query with 10 fields, probably from 5 or 6 tables. Then that is fixed. Day after tomorrow, the clients would like to see the data of 12 fields. Maybe those 2 fields are coming from the same tables or maybe from extra tables. So that point of time, end users need engineers help, or maybe they need our help. So we have to pitch in and modify the query, then show the data to them. After 1 hour, they may feel that, okay, I don't need these 2 fields. Then immediately you have to change that code, compile it and test it, then send it to production. Just imagine how much time it takes to add 1 or 2 fields from all the way to dev to production. So it takes a lot of time as well as a lot of resources, money, all it doesn't make sense to the business. So which means they need ad hoc queries or ad hoc reporting way. So that's where we load all the data into warehouses, then give the access to them through reporting. So these are the warehouse approaches. So you pull the data from multiple sources and put it in the integration system, then load it into the data warehouse. Then later to the clients, we will expose this data with the help of reporting technologies. So as I earlier mentioned, the reason why we are doing the ETL is to give the access to the end users, to give the access to the data to the end users through presentation layer, which is reporting. So these are the advantages of warehousing. It's a high query performance and it does not interfere the processing of your source system. Then we can maintain multiple copies of information. Let's say in source side, we will be keep on modifying the data. Let's say version 1 and version 2. Today my last name may be different. Then tomorrow I may change my last name, or else my age keeps on changing, or else my address. Let's say currently I am in Bangalore. Tomorrow I may be in Hyderabad. So these kind of fields will be keep on changing in the source side. If you want to have the history or track in the warehouse, you can maintain that. So that's called slowly changing dimensions. We will discuss it later when we start Informatica. Those kind of things or modifications you can always restore in the target side. So that's called historical information. Then security and auditing. See, in source, you can always go and modify and delete it. But in the target warehouse side, we expose the data through presentation layer. That means reporting. Through reporting, no one can modify, no one can delete it. So your information is secure and you can always audit it also. Audit it in the sense you can walk through the versions of history and you can get the audit reports. That's the advantage of warehouse. So this is the warehouse approach or architecture. You have multiple sources, then integrate it. It's called staging area, then put it in the data warehouse, then you do the query and analysis. So here it's extract, transform, load phase. That is nothing but ETL. So that's where the Informatica comes into picture. You have sources, you have target where the data needs to be reached. In between layer, you use ETL technology. That is nothing but Informatica. And we have a classical difference between source system and target system. Source system is always called as OLTP and our target or warehouse system is called as OLAP. OLTP stands for online transaction processing system and OLAP stands for online analytical processing system. So which means it's always for analysis. So the advantages of OLAP is different than OLTP. So basically OLTP used for day-to-day basis transactions. Every day you log in, log out, then do modifications, create the data, all those kind of things you do in OLTP. Here it's analysis purpose, mostly reads, no writes. Then here you see less data because you will be archiving it because you don't need the history here. But whereas when you want to do the analysis, you always need the history. So we always maintain the history in warehouse side. So that is nothing but you see current snapshot and here you see history. That's the reason you see here more data in terms of GB and all. Here less data. Then here the indexes are different. Here the indexes are completely different. Then in OLTP side you see raw data, which means it's everyday transactions. Here no some summary data. Let's say every day I am purchasing 100 materials from a vendor, and like that I have multiple vendors. Here we maintain multiple vendors, and for each vendor whatever we are buying, for each buy we maintain one record. Whereas here you can maintain detailed data as well as summary data. For example, in a given month, in Jan 2016, how many items I have purchased from a vendor called XYZ. Then you can get it from summary table, month-wise summary, or week-wise summary, quarter-wise summary, year-wise summary. You can maintain it. The reason for summary data maintenance is to make the query performance very well. See, here in the data warehouse, most of the times we will be analyzing the data on summaries only. I don't need everyday transactions, because with everyday transactions, I can't take any conclusions which will help my business to improve. Rather than if I go ahead and do the summary analysis, I can get some conclusions like who is supplying the materials very fast to me, or with the effective rate, or with the best bid price, or out of all the reasons which I have it, or where I'm doing the business, which area is doing good. That kind of summary analysis you can do it in the OLAP. That's called warehouse. So here the system is used to make the users do the entries, everyday entries, or capture the truth, what is happening every day. Here the warehouse is being used for the analysis or decision making purpose. Then finally here is the Informatica architecture. So it's simple and crystal clear. We have source and target. Here in between we will be having Informatica. Informatica will have client as well as server. It's a client server architecture. So whenever we install Informatica, we will maintain all the metadata in repository. That's called repository. Then you will have Informatica server. A connection will be established between server, repository, and Informatica client. And in the Informatica client, we will write all the code. For example, you would like to write C equal to A plus B, or C equal to A multiplied by B. These kind of logics you want to write it. Or else, let's say, before loading any record into the target, I would like to check whether the record is already exist or not. And before writing to the target, I would like to change the acronyms. Or before writing to the target, I would like to get my currency rates fixed. Let's say conversion from INR to USD, or USD to Euro. That kind of conversions, I want to do it and load into the target, so that I don't need to do any calculation in the reporting side. If you want to do such kind of logics, we do that logic, and through Informatica client, we will log into the Informatica client and do all the coding which get saved into the repository. Repository is nothing but it's a metadata, data about the data. Let's say you are writing C equal to A plus B. So this repository will have the information about A, B, and C. Then only the server can perform the operation C equal to A plus B. I hope it's clear. I will repeat it once again. So we will have client and server. In between we will have the repository. Repository is the container where it will store all the data as well as metadata. So data in the sense where you have installed, what and all the server IP addresses the Informatica server is running, and where the client is, what is the ODBC connection between server and client. Everything, every piece of information will be stored in repository when we install Informatica. Once we are done with the installation, once we started using the Informatica client to do any coding, for example, simple example, C equal to A plus B, then you need to have the data about A and B. What is A and what is B? Or what is table 1 and what is table 2? Then joining relation between table 1 and table 2. All that information needs to be maintained so that server can perform the operations whatever you want. So for that purpose, we store all that information in repository. So repository is the key. So server always depends on repository to do any processing. If server want to transform or load one record from source to target, then it will interact with the repository, then get the information, then fire the queries, or you know yeah, it fires the queries on source, then extract the data, then do the processing here in the server, then load into the target. That's how server works. Informatica server always process the records one by one. So which means every record has to come from source to the server, then server to the target. It's a row by row operation. So this is Informatica architecture. Then we will have these are the Power Center components. We will have Informatica repository, Informatica clients. In the clients, you will see different clients. One is to write your logic, one is to execute your logic, and another one is to monitor your logic, how it's performing, whether it's a failing, or whether it's giving the throughput correctly or not, which indicates the processing power, all those things. Then Informatica server. See, we will talk about these components in a detailed way in coming classes. Since it's demo, I would like to give a touch upon all the terminology what we use in Informatica. If you Google also, you get the information like server, source, target, all those things. So I don't want you to feel uncomfortable with these terminologies. So I am covering all these things. Once we start the actual class, I will be showing the server, where it is installed, how it get installed, the real power of server, how to connect to the server, monitor the things, all those kind of information I will show you, and we will start the actual class. Now I will open it for question and answers. Manoj or someone, can you help me to unmute these people? So the prerequisites to learn Informatica is database knowledge. You should be familiar with database, like let's say simple commands of database, how to join two tables, then what are the operations we can perform on a table, let's say insert, update, commit, delete the records, truncate the table, those kind of. Yes, SQL Server knowledge is good enough, because Informatica has the power to connect any data source, let's say Oracle database or SQL Server, or even it can connect to SAP BW database also, SAP database also. So SQL Server knowledge is good enough to start. So the only prerequisite to learn Informatica is good understanding of database or simple SQL commands you need to know. If team wants, I can cover it in 1 or 2 sessions in initial days. Coding you don't require. So the whole and sole purpose of Informatica is avoiding coding. Let's say in olden days we used to write PL/SQL packages to transform the data from source to target, which is very tedious and time taking. And if I write the code and leave it, maybe other people, it's difficult to understand also. So to avoid that problem, Informatica has come into picture. So it's all about drag and drop, but you should know before dragging and dropping, you should know what you are going to do it. Let's say you want to join two tables, then you drag drop two tables and give the link between that. No, uh, you don't need to have OLTP knowledge at all. If you know any OLTP system, which is fine. OLTP, see, as a technical developer, you should know what is source, how to connect it. That's all. If your source is Oracle Financials, then you should know the username of your database and password. Then just establish the ODBC connection through your Informatica. Yeah, at the end of the training, we will plan a project that IT Elon will plan it. I suggest you to write to the email address of this so that they can answer you. The object of this course is learning Informatica technically, like coding and all. So to complete the Informatica classes, we need 30 hours, 30 sessions time. Yes, Harati, it will definitely help you to understand how your metadata management, data stage, everything works. See, data stage and Informatica go in hand, like they are parallel technologies. You can easily understand how your data stage is going to work. Then obviously you definitely need Oracle database, so it will definitely help you to groom yourself in your project. Srinivas, when it comes to your question, we have two parts in Informatica. One is administration and another one is development. This course talks about development only. When it comes to admin, we don't see that much, use of admin. Let's say, practically speaking, we are in our organization, we are using Informatica. We don't need, or we don't have a position for the admin admin people, because Informatica is easily installable and easily maintainable. Basically, it's like clicking next to install the Informatica. It is as simple as that. When you want to maintain your code also, you can take the backup of entire your repository, then deploy it in the target. That's all. So it's not like Linux administration or Oracle Financial Administration, where those softwares are huge and you definitely need a administrator. But when it comes to in Informatica, we don't need the admins at all. The developers can itself manage their admin tasks. So I will show you how to take the code backup, then how to deploy from one instance to another instance. So it will cover at least more than 30% of your admin tasks. Okay, Harati, when it comes to class timings, um, so we haven't, I mean, the same timings are going to be continued. If any changes are there, then definitely IT eLearn will communicate to you people. For now, the class timings are 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. It may alter, maybe just half an hour prior or before. That's the maximum variation. Team, any other questions, or you want me to walk through any of the topics which we covered today, so that you can, I mean, if you feel it may clear your doubts or it may make you understand more, I will walk you through once again. Yes, definitely. These sessions are going to be recorded. The current demo session also being recorded. Definitely we will record all the sessions and upload to the YouTube channel. Okay, when it comes to support, I will be online through IT Learn portal. You can post me, you can mail me your doubts, or let's say your practical project questions also, I will definitely be there to support you. In terms of coding, in terms of designing also, I will be there to help you to solve some problems initially. Yes, definitely. See, ETL testing means learning about how ETL works. Let's say if you would like to build your career on ETL testing, you should know what is ETL and the popular tool in ETL, like let's say Informatica. If you know the coding and if you know the components of ETL, you will be the far ahead resource than any other testing guys. Maybe normal testers may test the data of source and target, but you can test the tool itself, the logic itself. Let's say if as a developer, if I code for something, if you know Informatica, you can open up and see the logic also. The logic, whether the logic is, intended to meet the requirements of business, or is that in line with your FRDs, functional requirement documents. So you can do very, very clear testing than any other guys. It will definitely help you. Informatica is not free. That is one thing which I will discuss with you guys in the next upcoming classes. Thanks, Sarati. Thank you so much. Srinivas, the fee structure and all, can you please write it to IT eLearn? So I am going to show you the email address. So it's learn@itelearn.com. Can you please write it to them about the fee structure, or else if you have any other inquiries about the timings, number of hours, duration, next related to the project, any other questions will be addressed by IT Learn. Here are the phone numbers also. Okay, good question. How to do practice? So in the class, I will see ETL is nothing but learning about transformations. Let's say if I want to load two tables data in target. So for that, you just need to join those two tables, then put it into the target. That is called a transformation. We have a joiner transformation in Informatica. I'm taking this as example. So I will teach you how to do the join transformation in Informatica. That time I will be showing one example in class. Let's say I will take a simple two tables. I will prepare some data and I will publish to you also, or else we get the when we install Oracle database, we get couple of sample schemas. There you will see few sample tables as well as data. You can practice on those tables, or else you can take the data from me and put it in your database and start doing it. That's the way how it works. So it's about, if I show you joiner transformation in the class, so you have to simulate that. You take some other two tables and practice the options of Informatica while doing the joiner transformation. What are the options you have it? That is what you have to learn. That is nothing but coding. Let's say if I want to do the union of two tables, I have the union transformation in Informatica. If you want to do it manually, you have to write all the statements. Let's say select column 1, column 2 from table 1, then union, select column 1, then comma, maybe null, then from table 2. That kind of coding you have to do it if you want to do the transformation manually. Whereas in Informatica, you have a union transformation. You just drag drop the transformation. You show the two tables where you want to do the union. We will specify those two tables. Then we select the union option or the other set operators like minus, union, all those things. then we put that link to the target. That's all. You don't need to do the coding. That's how I will show you in the class. Those are the options. You need to learn it and practice it further. So guys, I will just walk you through the about course structure that may help you definitely. See, this is the course structure. So initially one or two maybe 2-3 classes, I will be walking you through about database commands. It means Oracle SQL commands. If you people know Microsoft SQL commands, that is also fine. You can connect to that source. Then how to install Informatica client, then how to use it. Then once you install the client, you have to start a integration to the repository. That I'm going to show it. Then next is how to create mappings. This is the whole and story of learning Informatica. So we have to learn about how to create mappings, how to create or how to write the logic. Then once that is done, we have to put that logic into the sessions and run it to do operations from source to target. That is nothing but sessions, and we will attach those sessions to the workflows and we can schedule it. You don't need to go and run manually. You can do the scheduling, which means every day the ETL has to start by 6 p.m. Then once that is done, then maybe another run like that next day, or once in a week you want to do. Generally we do every day. Some companies do even once in 4 hours or 6 hours. That kind of scheduling also we can do it. That also we will learn it. Then once that starts, the run start, sometimes it may fail because of bad rows or because of some database issues and all. When it happens, how to monitor it and how to fix it, that we are going to learn it. Then reviewing the log fails, then performance issues. Let's say you are expecting 1 million records to be loaded in 15 minutes, but it is taking more than half an hour. How can you debug that? So that kind of performance improvement issues we will tackle in the class itself. I will show you what and all the options you need to use it and fix it. First of all, we need to identify the root cause by reviewing the logs. So I will show you the importance of log. Informatica writes very clear log step by step. So I will show you the different options as well as how to understand the log and how to digest it. Then the main objective, as I told you, creating mappings, or else we call that as transformation. Learn how to build the different kind of transformation. For example, source qualifier, joiner, union, SQL transformation, all these lookup. You see at least 12 to 15 different kind of transformations. So which means indirectly, whatever the operations you do by writing your SQL commands, you can do all those operations by using the tool. So we are completely avoiding the coding of SQL commands by using Informatica. But as I told you, you should be you should be good at Informatica Oracle SQL commands, because Informatica always works on database by using Oracle SQL commands. Select, from, where, then joining the tables, then group by, order by, then union. All these are Oracle SQL commands. So for those, we have the alternative transformations in Informatica, so that you can avoid the coding. You can use the tool and use the simple options to achieve that coding capabilities, then save it, start running it. That is the main intention of Informatica. So this is the course structure, how we will proceed towards our goals. We'll start with SQL commands, then we'll start about the installation of your client, then connections to the Informatica server, then the mappings, then run those logics which you have built it, then review the logs for the success or failure or performance issues, then make it automate. Let's say you have built the logic and you want to automate it to run every day 6 o'clock or once in a 4 hours, once in a week, whatever it may be. That is the final end result. Team, any questions? Please go ahead, don't hesitate. If it is out of topic also, that's fine. I can answer your questions. If it is related to even reporting also, fine, because I have been working on Informatica OBA since 8 years. I have very good hands-on experience on these two technologies along with the database. So you can ask me any questions. So the reason why I covered a little bit about reporting is I want you to understand the end result of Informatica. You do some coding and you load the data into the warehouse, but you should know why we are doing it. Haradi, when it comes to your question, will you cover initial data load and transactional processing? See, this is the main intention of learning Informatica, how to deal the data load from source to target. But when it comes to transactional processing, I hope you are talking about OLTP system. That is out of scope because OLTP is a system where you have multiple technologies or multiple tools which deals with OLTP. So Informatica is nowhere related to the OLTP transaction entering system. So it go and touch the OLTP and it pulls out the data, OLTP data, whatever we require, then we load into the target. In between, we do the transformations. So we first connect to the OLTP system, then extract the data into the Informatica server. Here we do a lot of transformations. So that we are going to learn how to do the transformations. So connecting to the source is very easy. It's a very straightforward. Then loading also straightforward. In between, doing the transformations is important. That is what whole and soul of Informatica. So that we are going to deal it. Mugdha, very good question. You can always practice in your laptops. Let's say the way how I install, the same way you are also going to have some VM slice. So it's up to you whether you want to hear the class first, then you do the practice, or you want to simultaneously do it. So if you are fast or good enough to understand the concept and do it immediately, you can definitely do it. Or else you will always have the recording sessions. So you can first listen the class, then see my screen, everything without any tension. Then you listen once again if you want, then practice it in your system. It's up to you how you do it. But if you are good enough, you can definitely parallelly you can practice it. Since it's not a coding, you can always do it. So yes, Mugdha, I will give you a installation document how to do it yourself. Installation, doing the installation live is going to take time. Let's say installing the Informatica server is going to take some time. So instead of that, I will show you how to install Informatica client. And when it comes to Informatica server installations, I will provide you the documentation, and once we start the class, I will guide you definitely how to do it. If you face any issues while installation also, I will help you to resolve it, or else I will help you to get one VM slice where Informatica and database is already installed, so that it will be easy for you. So the installation, taking the backups, those kind of things are called admin tasks. So that I will be covering definitely but you don't need to practice it basically, because um, literally you don't do it in a real time as a developer. Maybe your architect or lead will be installing or doing it, or else you may see IT guys who will be installing it. You don't need to have any admin related skill set. Team, any other questions? All questions are welcome. Please go ahead and ask whatever you have it in your mind. Yes, Harati, you can practice it, because Informatica is not going to delete anything, but please ask your IT team so that they will definitely give you some clarity. It's not advisable to practice on the company data, because definitely I feel it will have some secure information. They may restrict your access. It's up to you and to the company whether they allow you to practice. If they feel that learning Informatica is going to help to the project, then they may allow you definitely. Radha, I didn't understand your question. Can you please explain it a little bit more? No, no. In IBM, there is something called PME. Okay. No, we don't have that kind of rules or concept in Informatica. It's not going to do any harm. When you are going to connect to the data source, it will ask you to the ODBC connection. You can give it, then it just reads the data. That's all. So it's nowhere related to the concept of matching with the engine and all. No. Mugdha, it's a right question. Thanks for bringing it up, and other people may also benefit it. See, in testing, there are multiple carriers. Let's say now the demand is more for ETL testing, which is related to Informatica as well as database. So for that, you don't need to really learn reporting itself. If you learn Informatica and if you are good at database, you can get the job. You can start your career and definitely make a lot of progress. Also, you don't need to really learn reporting. And believe me, these days the reporting tools are very simple, so you can definitely learn it within few days. Which means, let's say you have transferred the data from source to target, you would like to see in UI. You can just get the credentials, you log in and click on the columns which you want to see. You just click on it and see the results and save it. That is what you need as a tester. If you want offline, I can just show you how to just do it, but it's very simple, very simple. So you don't need to learn reporting for your testing career. Yes, Harati. So when you have multiple sources and you are saying same ID, So when you have same ID, we can restrict it. Let's say you have two ERP systems, and in one is SAP and another one is Oracle Financials, and both have same vendors by the match of name. Then when you are joining itself, you get only one record, or else you can definitely eliminate the duplicates. We have all the controls in Informatica which will allow us to eliminate the records. Let's assume that you did a wrong coding and you got the duplicate records into your Informatica server, but before loading into the target, you can still put your validation saying that, hey, if a vendor name with GE capital or XYZ is already present in the target, then don't load it. That you can always do it with the help of Informatica coding. So Harati, I hope I answered your question. And when it comes to matching IDs, if you are using source system as Oracle DB, then from single point of source you don't see any duplicates. If you have multiple point of sources, when you see duplicate IDs with the name or by any chance, you can always eliminate it. Team, any other questions? Team, can we end up the session if you don't have any other questions?